What's up, YouTube? It's me, Evan, back with another review. This is for, finally, the Sideshow Darkseid premium format that came out. Well, the bottom of the base says 2015. God only knows when it came out. Yeah, so this one has quite a story to it. This is the regular edition. It had a size of 1,000 pieces. The EX had a size of 500. When I first seen this announced, I never bought a statue from Sideshow before or anything from their site. I wasn't really an online shopper back then. I would only buy things at conventions. But I did have Sideshow's Dracula action figure from way back when that I bought at a Suncoast. So I knew of Sideshow. I had seen their Ultron and stuff like that they came out with. But, Darkseid's really the only thing that interests me. So when I seen the promo pics for this, I was blown away. I think it was $500, $499, something like that. I was like, I gotta get it. It's massive. The promos pictures looked incredible. But the only thing when I looked on their site, I saw a very, very ugly portrait where he's showing his teeth, and he looked like he had an almond head. It looked horrendous. I was like, yuck. I was like, I really don't want that one. And I couldn't comprehend or not if, that's the way it looked on their site. And then if you bought it on another site, you'd get this regular head, which looked better. Because I knew all my Japanese statues in the past, you could switch out the portraits and stuff like that. I didn't know America caught up to that technology and could do that. So I was like, okay, when it was going up for pre-order, I kept refreshing the page on the date, and Sideshow, it wasn't coming up. Then I went to BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store, and they had the pre-order. And it didn't have that ugly face. So I was like, yes, I'll pre-order it here. I didn't want to sell out. So I pre-order it. It says it would take 1 year to come. I wait a year. I don't hear anything. No shipping requests or nothing. So I start Googling, and I type in Darkseid Sideshow Premium Format. And I wasn't getting any information except for a video from this channel called Rad Titan popped up. And it was Geo on one of his chats with Alex ranting about where is my Darkseid statue. He goes, I'm tired of their excuses. And he explained the whole story that I guess they got wrecked out in the ocean or something like that. Sideshow said was their excuse. So they had to remake them. But I heard other stories that they came in looking horrible. So they remade them because they just looked horrible to begin with from the factory. So I was like, oh, finally I got a story. And it took another year to come out. So it took 2 years before I got this thing. And when I finally got it and opened it up, spoiler alert, it was hella disappointing. So I'm going to go in and closer and go everything in depth and show you guys what the statue all entails and what I think about it. First, I'll do some measurements. So it's a tall statue because the base is so high. From base to head, it's about 26 inches. Darkseid himself, it's 21 inches. Centimeters, looks like 67, 66 centimeters. He has this fire back here, he sticks out like 17 inches. It's pretty deep because there's a flame back here. Alright, so it came in a pretty small box, and so if we look at start with the head. Doesn't look too bad. It's a little thin in the face for my liking. I wish it would have had light up eyes. Lots of paint imperfections. But yeah. So when mine came in, it had this, let's see if we can see it. You see all that in there? It's like these imperfections in the chest. In the paint, it's like flaking off here. Right there. When I took it out of the box, it was immediately like that. And this paint scraped off, God only knows how, just from me touching it. Like, the paint is barely on there. There's another imperfection right here. Like, it had a lot of paint defects. So I called Sideshow. They're like, oh, we're not doing anything about it. You got to call the company you ordered it from. So I called BPTS or emailed them. And they said you can either swap it out with another one, or we'll give you $100 back. So they gave me $100 back. I think it's store credit. I ended up buying Iron Studios Deathstroke with that. So I was kind of happy about that. The reason why I didn't get another one is because I watched a lot of reviews that said their hand was falling off. Like, the magnet was so weak and it was having fitting issues, and mine's really solid. So I didn't have magnet issues. These are really, really solid. So I was like, well, I'd rather have a bad paint job than the pieces falling out and breaking. So eventually I'm going to have, there's a local painter. I'll have him repaint it. Hopefully that helps. But for now, I'm going to give you the raw review. Yeah, so you look here. The paint in his armpit isn't good. It's really bad there from there to there. The seams, like there's overspray. The gray where it should be blue, blue where it should be gray. There is some shading in the skirt here. There's another paint defect. They put a glob of black there. Yeah, so wherever the factory painted this did a really bad job. And then the sculpt itself, it's not too bad. I mean, I like plain classic Darkseid. At least I love the pose. Captain Morgan pose is my favorite. But the belt, if you look here, the belt is crooked. I have a bunch of other statues with belts and Captain Morgan's poses, and the belt doesn't go crooked. It goes straight. This one leans this way, if you can see it. It's really an eyesore. I don't know why they did that. And the paint is also sloppy there. You can see sloppy paint here. The legs look okay. The boots look pretty damn good. The base looks like, you know, typical lasagna, cheese, burnt cheese, pizza, DiGiorno. You know how Sideshow be doing it. That's one of their calling cards. This boot looks good. Fist looks pretty good. The hand looks okay. I like that pose, like he's summoning his parademons to have an assault on Earth. And this apocalyptic fire pit thing, that looks okay. It looks old and beat up like it should. The paint on this crooked ass belt is also really not good. Like, I don't know, should have looked a little more metallic. Let me spin it around. Shows on the side. The eyes are actually painted pretty well. I mean, they kind of look like they do glow, even though they don't. So here's the side. Again, hungry for some cheese. If I knew how to edit, I'd put Urkel in there. The boot doesn't look too bad. And unlike the new Darkseid statue they did sculpt underneath the skirt. I don't think I can get a picture, but you can see his thong. It's there. You have to take my word for it. So they didn't cheap out on the sculpting in that sense. And then here's the fire. This comes off. This is another magnetized piece. This little, I don't know if it's fire, if it's lava splashing up. And then they oversprayed his or they painted his boot to make it look like it's glowing, which I don't really like. They should have just left it. And then if you shine a light through it, well, it looks a little bit translucent. Like, you'd think if you shine a light through it, it would reflect orange onto it. You don't need to paint everything. His buttocks look pretty good. And then here's another huge miss. The freaking mother box back here looks like crap. Look at that. They've done it better in cheap $7 action figures. That looks horrendous. They didn't even paint it differently than the belt. It just blends right in. There's no sculpt to it. That turned out really bad. Back of the leg looks okay. The boot sculpt, it's good. I like plain, smooth comic book style. He has a little heel there. Everything pegged in really well. The base is hollow like a drum. Like it doesn't weigh anything. It's hot, very very hollow, very light. Feels like it's made of like a plastic or something, which is hugely different from any XM piece. Their base weighs 1,000 pounds. XM's base weighs more than this entire statue. Darkseid himself is pretty light as well. Yeah, so if you can find this one for cheap and you want a classic looking Darkseid in your collection, I guess pick it up. I wouldn't pay. Well, I technically paid $3.99 for it, which ain't bad. So if you can find it for $3.99, I'd say pick it up. I'm definitely gonna have to spend, I don't know, maybe $150 to have it repainted though. Just fix the imperfections. The shadings ain't bad here with the folds of the clothes. I think it looks all right. I'll just try and do something with that belt. Maybe clean up the lines. Like I said, the line work. Yeah, if you want to see them compared to any other statues, check out any of my old reviews. I do put them in for size comparisons. And I got them displayed next to classic, old school XM Thanos, which is also very plain, so they go together very well. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Check out my other videos if you can. See you next time.